I watched last year. So I think I'm gonna try that, and maybe it'll stop trying to grow these. Can't say that on YouTube. Hey y'all. I just did a whole intro to this video, and I didn't have my video running. What I did have running on my phone was the camera mode with the timer. And for some reason, I didn't notice that. So I'll probably put those those bloopers pictures in this video. But anyway, so this is like take 5. And it's just the intro. So today we are at the apartment. We did not go to the farm after work. We had some things we needed to do around here. We have a small garden out front of our apartment that I have been neglecting and really needing to prune my tomatoes. I still need to weed the beds. They're not too bad. We don't deal with a lot of weed pressure in most of our gardening space out front, which is nice. I really like that. But I do still need to weed those, and we have not had rain in a very long time. So I needed to water things. This is only about the 3rd or 4th time, I think, that I've actually had to bring the water hose out and water that garden. So that's wonderful. But what I was saying in previous takes that I thought I was videoing, but I was actually just taking pictures of myself. Last year we grew about 35 tomato plants out front, and I'll take you out there and I'm going to show you where we live in the apartment. Our front yard is the parking lot for a local pharmacy here. That's our front yard. But we still were able to grow like 35 tomato plants in 13-gallon nursery pots last year, and had lots of tomatoes like this. You know, I was able to, we had so many tomato sandwiches. We were sick of them. I still have tomatoes frozen in the freezer. I've got tomato juice here. We cooked with them. We gave them away. I sold some. We had so many tomatoes. And we did all of that out in nursery pots that we picked up on the side of the road for free, that someone was throwing away. And it was the talk of the town. Like, I went to the hardware store and people were talking about my tomato plants. And they did really well. So let that encourage you. If you don't have a lot of land and you don't have even a lot of dirt, ground to plant things in, you can still grow things. I did it on asphalt, and it was very successful. Now, it was a lot of work. It really was. I always go overboard with my plants. I don't know why. I say I'm not going to, but when I go and I buy my starts at the greenhouse, I always get way more than I should. I don't know why, but then I feel responsible for keeping them alive. So anyway, at that scale, it was a lot of work, and you have to water things more when they're in pots because they dry out more. They dry out quicker. So I'm going to take you out there now and kind of give you a little garden tour of the apartment garden, show you where we live and what our yard looks like, and just kind of go through that. So it probably will be very loud out here. We do live in downtown, so there's lots of traffic. I hope that isn't too distracting for any of you. But I do just want to go real quick through our tiny garden and show you what we've got going on. Flip you around. Okay, so this is, I'm going to come out this way, what we have going on here. Ignore the seed starting trays. I believe that is a failed attempt at starting some basil seeds, but we'll figure it out. So this is where we live. This is a parking lot. So we'll walk you out here, and I'm going to show you. But this is the back of the pharmacy, and you can see our front yard is literally a parking lot. And we're growing. I've got cucumbers coming out of my ears right now. And we are growing lots of things. So, where do I start? I just trimmed up the tomatoes. So we'll start back there. Because these got huge. And we've got some tomatoes growing on them. So I just pruned those today. I've got 4 cucumber plants in this bed, a tomato. We got some cucumbers in there that need to be picked, but I have a ton in the fridge right now that I need to pickle tonight. So I'm not going to pick those just yet. This cucumber plant has struggled. There's only one other one that I think has struggled as bad as this one, but we got some cucumbers off of this one so far. Oh, I have volunteer potato plants down here. I had potatoes planted in this bed last year, and those came up, and I just left them. So in here we've got these volunteer potato plants. We've got 4 cucumbers, and I've got them staked up. I've got these 4 staked up. Those are on tomato cages there. 1 tomato, and then 6 bell pepper plants, and they're doing really well. We've got peppers on them and lots of blooms. This one looks like it's struggling really bad. I wonder why. Why is that? Sorry. Why is this one struggling more and these are not? It's very interesting. So we've got lots of peppers coming on, and I have never successfully really grown bell peppers, so I'm super excited about that. Here are just some flower seeds that I dropped in the corner here. I dropped them in the front corners of both beds. So that and that. This one, none of those came up. But right after I planted the seeds, we got a really heavy rain, and I'm thinking the water puddled there and maybe ran off. So, but we've got these coming up, and I forget what they are. But we have little flower heads, buds on them. These raised beds right here, the metal ones, I got at Aldi a couple of years ago, and I just planted flowers in them this time. I got these flowers at the local high school. These look better. They're all the same, just different colors. So I got these at the local high school. I told the guy I need something that loves the heat, because where we live, it's going to be so hot. It gets so hot on this pavement. And they've done really well. These are some more flower seeds that I planted in here, and I, again, do not remember what they are. I'm going to have to look it up. These are doing really well, these flowers. So in this bed, we have 1 tomato plant. That's a giant tomato plant. I cut so much off of it because probably way more than I should have, because it was so heavy it was falling over. So we've got that one giant tomato plant back there, a cucumber, and I just stuck that little shishito pepper in. So it's not looking too great. It was looking terrible at the feed store. So I thought I'd try to keep it alive. We'll see. And then we have jalapenos. And so I've got 4 jalapeno plants and a shishito, a cucumber, and a tomato in this bed here. And this little surprise strawberry volunteer that came up. I never planted strawberries in this bed. But that one came up, and I'm just letting it do its thing. Its little runners everywhere. I also have a volunteer tomato plant that is growing. Literally, there was no grass here. This was all pavement. This was all asphalt. No grass was here at all. This is all from weeding these beds for the last 3 years, and I was just throwing it in here. And so this tomato plant is a volunteer that is growing in maybe 3 inches of dirt, and I'm not going to pull him up. I'm going to let her live there. See what happens. All right, let's move around here. I've had this rosemary plant for 2 years. I don't know if I'm supposed to prune it. But in the winter, at the beginning of spring, it literally was like half that size. So it has grown a lot. And it's beautiful, and it smells wonderful. So I'm going to leave it there. So this cucumber. So I said I had the one cucumber in the first bed that was struggling. Well, this one, I don't honestly know why it's still alive. I really don't. Because it has given me one cucumber, where the other ones have given me, I don't even know how many. It gets flowers on it. It has flowers on it. But it's struggling. It's not growing anymore. It looks like it's kind of stunted. It just got to that point and stopped. So, I don't know. I'm just going to see what happens. Just let it go. See what happens. And it's the one, it took off before the other ones and started growing. And I thought, wow, that's going to be the winner this year. And then it just stopped. So, we're just going to leave it and see if it will produce any more. I just picked the one cucumber off of it yesterday. Here I have a gardenia. A gardenia? Yeah, a gardenia. It smells really, really good. It's starting to die off. This was propagated from Bob's mom's gardenia in her front yard. Let's see, what else do we have? And this is 3 years, I think, of growth. And it's seen better days. It probably needs to get in the ground or a bigger pot. But I didn't think it was even going to get flowers on it. And I fertilized it, and it was doing better. Let's see, what else do I have here? I just really like to try to grow rattlesnake beans up this kind of awning that we have over the front. So that's just some rattlesnake beans there and there, and hopefully they will grow up over. Last year they grew up all the way to the top. They did not cover it in and make it like a full canopy, but it was pretty. It was really pretty. You could still see, like up there by the light, you can see some of the old vines. Alright, and then this is the first bed we started with. And in it we have 2 tomato plants and a squash. The only squash plant I have. And it's enormous, but I haven't been able to get a squash off of them. They only grow to a certain size, and then they just kind of shrivel up. So maybe I will get a squash or two off. I mean, they're in there. It's growing them. So I pruned these tomatoes as well. And they're not quite as big as the other ones, but they do have tomatoes on them. And they're looking pretty good. This one has a lot of tomatoes on it that I didn't see until I pruned the limbs. And so far, oh, there's some blossom end rot. Was hoping I was going to get away from that this year. I had it pretty bad last year in the beginning of the tomato jungle. That was actually right out here. It was right out here on 6 pallets. So we had 35 plants with 6 pallets. And that's where they sat, on that asphalt. And we staked them up with bamboo. So that's why they were the talk of the town. So, I'll show you the flowers. I got these flowers here for my birthday. And we got these. This one just does not ever want to stand up. But it's not dying. So I'm just kind of leaving it, letting it do its thing. So we have flowers here in this corner. And then the other front corner. That are kind of being hid here by the squash. I think I am going to try pruning the squash plant. I saw a video about doing that. It'll stop trying to grow these big leaves and actually put that energy into the vegetables. So I might try doing that. I'll look that up and see what happens. I mean, we don't eat a lot of squash, so I'm not trying to grow enough to put up. I just would like to have some fresh squash. So, okay, well, guys, that's it. That's where we live currently. Our little in-town apartment. It was built, I believe, in the 40s or the 50s. But I do know for sure in the 50s it was used as a chicken hatchery. And then we have converted it, Bob actually converted it into an apartment and a workshop. So I'm going to try to convince him it's not finished, it's not complete. We've used reclaimed materials for most of it, for what we could. It's really neat. It's a neat building. I'm going to try to convince him to do a video on it. Just a little tour, just to explain, like why he did what he did and his inspiration and that sort of thing. We've both always kind of liked alternative living structures, and so I mean you can't really get any more alternative than that, living in a chicken hatchery. So it's also an old building that is just rented out, and right now it's just empty. So, but it's very close to you. That's our building, the white, and then that's that building, and then the alley down there. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our little garden tour of our apartment, and I hope it encourages somebody to try something new. Just like I put all those tomato plants out here in pots last year, and it was very successful, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a great learning experience. So even if you don't have a lot of land, even if you don't have any at all, you can do this. You can do something. I probably wouldn't recommend putting out 36 tomato plants or 35, or maybe 2, 3 would be a good start. But you can do it. I hope that you do try. Have a good night. Whoa, that's close.